Welcome to part 2 of the eosLink-MX software setup tutorial. Here we will cover some more advanced features of the software, such as refreshing the system, controlling your EOS system information, loading cycles, and the idle delay step. Your plugged-in chambers should show up as black numbers under the multiplexer line. If not, you'll have to refresh the system. This will take a similar time as it did when you first started the software up, and program status will change from idle to the chamber numbers as it runs through the system. Reasons why you might need to use this is if your chamber is not initially recognized, you've added or removed a chamber while the software has been running, or you've plugged your chambers in after starting the software up. To verify that your chambers are working properly, you can use the Eosense control button. Note, this does not allow you to take a gas measurement. This is purely to open or close the chambers. To toggle through chamber numbers, just click next or back depending on which one you're aiming for. The auto chamber numbers on the software correspond to the communication ports on the multiplexer that the auto chambers are plugged into on the multiplexer. Also important to note, if you're going to be moving or lifting your auto chambers, it's important to close them to avoid damaging them. So if you want to know how your system is doing at an individual chamber level, the system info button will be useful. It will let you know if there's a problem with any of the chambers, like unable to identify chamber if it's not properly connected to a COM port, or if you started the software up before connecting any of the chambers, which we covered already in the refresh system button. If the chamber is properly connected, the status will say normal. There will be a value for the number of measurements taken with that individual chamber, and the internal temperature will be in degrees Celsius, and pressure will be reported in kilopascals. Examples of messages you might see will be unable to identify chamber, meaning you might want to try refreshing the system as one isn't recognized, or measurement completed, meaning that the measurements for that current session have been done. So if you need to replicate your custom measurement cycle that we already covered in part 1, you can save it as a CDF file, a cycle data file, with this button. Just save it to a desired directory to access later, and this gives you the option to load measurement schedules at a later date. Just load it with the load cycle button and go to your directory. Even if you're just using this measurement schedule the one time, it might be a good idea to save it anyway, just in case your system crashes. So unless you've saved everything, your customizations that you've made will be deleted after any shutdown. Next up is the idle delay function, which is useful if you want to delay or space out your chamber measurements. To implement it, you just scroll down the menu, the drop-down menu, click it, and then you can decide how long you want the duration to be of the delay. Type it in and say OK. So that concludes part 2 of the more advanced functions of the eosLink-MX software. If any issues arise while you're using the software, please refer to the EOS-MX user manual or contact support@eosense.com. Thank you.